Hare Krishna, welcome to this new episode of episode 5 of studying Vaishnava songs. And today's song is Vidyar Vilase by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So we're trying a little different setup today with a different background. This is a sit down kind of video where I can play the mridanga easily. So let's see how this goes. So we'll start with our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome to this new episode of Studying Vaishnava Songs, episode 5. And today's song is Vidyar Vilase. And as you can see, we tried a different kind of setup today. It's a kind of sit down on the floor kind of setup where I can hold the mridanga. It's still not 100% as I want, but it's a start. Okay, so so I have thought about how to do this program a little differently. So I thought maybe we'll sing the whole song and then we will go through the verses. Vidyara Vilase Katainu Kala Parama Sahasyami Vidyara Vilase Katainu Kala Parama Sahasyami Tomara charana na bhajinu kabhu Tomara charana na bhajinu kabhu Ekhona sharana tumi Ekhona sharana tumi Porite porite bharasa barilo Gyane gati habe mani Porite porite bharasa barilo Gyane gati habe mani Se asha befala, se jnana durbala, সে আশা বিফলা, সেই জ্ঞান দুর্বলা, সে জ্ঞান অজ্ঞান জানি, সে জ্ঞান অজ্ঞান জানি। जड़ विद्या जाता मायार वैभव, तुम्हार भजन बाधा। जड़ विद्या जाता मायार वैभव, तुम्हार भजन बाधा। मोह जनमिया अनित्य संसार, मोह जनमिया अनित्य संसार, जीव के कोरोए गाधा, जीव के कोरोए गाधा। সেই গাধা হয়ে সংসারের বোঝা, বহেনু অনেক কাল। সেই গাধা হয়ে সংসারের বোঝা, বহেনু অনেক কাল। বার্ধক্যে ক্ষণা শক্তির অভাবে, বার্ধক্যে ক্ষণা শক্তির অভাবে, কিছু নাহি লাগে ভালো, কিছু নাহি লাগে ভালো। জীবন যাতনা হইল এখন, সে বিদ্যা বিদ্যা ভেল। জীবন যাতনা হইল এখন, সে বিদ্যা বিদ্যা ভেল। अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिल विषम, अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिल विषम, से विद्या हইল शेलो, से विद्या हইল शेलो। तुम्हारा चरण बिना किछु धन, संसारे नाछे आर। तुम्हारा चरण बिना किछु धन, संसार नाछे आर। भक्ति विनोदा जड़ विद्या छाड़ी, भक्ति विनोदा जड़ विद्या छाड़ी, तू आपद करे सारा, तू आपद करे सारा। विद्यार विलासे काटाइनु काना, परम साहस आमी। विद्यार विलासे काटाइनु काला, परम साहस आमी। तुम्हारा चरण ना भजनु काबू, तुम्हारा चरण ना भजनु काबू, এখন শরণ তুমি, এখন শরণ তুমি। পড়িতে পড়িতে ভরসা বাড়িল, জ্ঞানে গতি হবে মানি পড়িতে পড়িতে ভরসা বাড়িল জ্ঞানে গতি হবে মানি সে আশা বিফলা সে জ্ঞান দুর্বলা সে আশা বিফলা সে জ্ঞান দুর্বলা সে জ্ঞান জ্ঞান জানি সে জ্ঞান জ্ঞান জানি जड़ विद्या जाता मायार वैभव तुम्हार भजन गाधा जड़ विद्या जाता मायार वैभव तुम्हार भजन गाधा मोह जन्मिया अनित्य संसारे मोह जन्मिया अनित्य संसारे जीव के को रोए गाथा जीव के को रोए गाथा से गाथा होए संसारेर बोझा बहिर्माने कथा से गाथा होए संसारेर बोझा बहिर्माने कथा वार्धक्ये खोना शक्तिरा भावे वार्धक्ये खोना शक्तिरा भावे किछु नहीं लागे भालो किछु नहीं लागे भालो जीवन जातना হইল এখনা সে বিদ্যা বিদ্যা বেলো জীবন যাতনা হইল এখনা সে বিদ্যা বিদ্যা বেলো अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिल विषमा अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिल विषमा से विद्या होइलो शेलो से विद्या होइलो शेलो तुम्हारा चराना बिना किछु धाना संसार नाचे हारा तुम्हारा चराना बिना किछु धाना संसार नाचे हारा भक्ति विनोदा जड़ा विद्या छाड़ी भक्ति विनोदा जड़ विद्या छाड़ी दुआ पदे कोरे सारा दुआ पद कोरे सारा विद्यार विलासे कटाइनु काला परम साहस आमी तुम्हारा चराना ना भजिनु कभू एखन शरण तुमी हरे कृष्णा So this is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vidyar Vilase. So it's a very interesting song, and the significance of it. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a great acharya. He is telling us the experience of material education and the effect of material education. Now, he himself was a great magistrate and very highly reputed by the British as well as the Indians in his time. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writing this, from his own personal experience and of course from the spiritual knowledge. He was not interested in material education or something like that. He was a pure devotee all the way. So, but just to show us, see, even though he was a magistrate and he was a high court judge and everything, but still he is mentioning to us, because sometimes devotees also get carried away. Oh, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also had material education, he had also material position, and he was a devotee. Yes, but the standard to which he was, how to come to that standard of devotion. How much he used to write every day, how much he used to read every day, how much he used to go out and preach every day despite his magistrate job. So we should not only take the Grihastha side of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and not the devotional side of him and try to justify our position. So anyway, it's a beautiful song. So as you can see, the first verse, Vidyar Vilase Katainu Kal Parama Sahase Ame. With great enthusiasm I spent my time in the pleasures of mundane learning. Tomar charan na bhajanu kabho ekhona sharana tumi. And never worshipped your lotus feet, O Lord. Now you are my only shelter. So this is introduction to the song. Now he graphically describes after this. So in this today's world, people are, especially so-called scientific advancement, they are very interested in advancement of education, advancement of knowledge, advancement of science and technology. Now, we are not against science and technology or anything like that, because similar science and technology, to a much greater degree in fact, was used by the great sages and even the warriors of bygone ages in Vedic times. Now, we are not exactly against technology or against science or against such facilities which science and technology affords us. Like, for example, now we are doing this live stream, and behind me, this curtain, this red curtain, is not a curtain at all. It's a green screen. It's just a green color. But I put a image on top of it, and now it became a curtain. I can do it. I can do anything with this. Like, for example, I'll just just for the same. Now you see, I mean, I can just do that. This is technology. I'm just sitting in one place, but I can do anything with this, you see. I was actually trying these different backgrounds before I came to that final one. So this is also technology. Now, what is behind me is none of these colors, but it's, and then we are also, we are learning this song now. All this is live stream, this is all technology. So we are not against this. But what we are against is the exclusion of spiritual knowledge. Now, material education is given the primary importance. It is only secondary. It is a facility. It is a tool. But the knowledge is actually the knowledge of the spirit, soul and matter, like Atma Tattvam, like who we are, who is God, and what are we doing here, why are we suffering, how to get rid of our suffering, how to cross over the cycle of birth and death, how to re-establish our relationship with God. These are the real subject matters of human society, and that constitutes knowledge. But today's emphasis is so much on the material education side and to the complete exclusion of spiritual education. And that exactly is condemned in the song. Of course, it is not that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is actually in this position of enthusiastically studying material education. No, he is not. But he is teaching us, by accepting a humble position, he is teaching us according to what situation we are in. You see? Podite bharasa barilo gyane gati hobe mani she asha bifala she jnana durbala she jnana ajnana jani. Podite, reading on and on or studying on and on. My hopes grew and grew, for I considered the acquisition of material knowledge to be life's true goal. Well, this pretty much sums up our current situation, especially when we are the moment we are born. just wait 2 years and then they're immediately put into the, or even sometimes less than a year, sometimes when the parents are working, then they put the child in the child care, and then eventually some preschool, then there is a kindergarten, then so from very very tender age, from 2-3 years old, he's already going to the school, and a whole program is made out for his life. There's primary school, there is secondary school, there is tertiary education, then there is, of course the degree, and then maybe sometimes masters, sometimes PhDs and all these things. And then after that, education is just the starting of the program. So it's basically like a carousel belt. What is that called? Machine, go conveyor belt like that. So we are put in this, and then we are taken to the whole system. After the education, then marriage, and then kids, and then their education, and then getting a big house or a car, or going to another country and settling down there, or whatever it may be. So many things it comes with this education, and there is no time for spiritual education. So what is happening? Everybody is getting entangled in this hopes, and because they have learnt their childhood in one way, all their ideas are going to be based off on that only. So reading on and on, my hopes grew and grew, for I considered the acquisition of material knowledge to be life's true goal. How fruitless those hopes turned out to be, for all my knowledge proved feeble. Now I know that all such erudition is actually pure ignorance. Now he is advising from a perspective of a person, an old man. Bardhakya ekhona, later on the sloka will come in this song. Bardhakya ekhona, now I am old, now none of those mundane learnings that I have learned all my life with great enthusiasm are helping me. How fruitless. She jnana durbala. This is very important. This durbala means not strong. Bala means strength. And durbala means weakness. It is completely incapable of solving the problems of life. She jnana ajnana jani. So she asha bifala. Now mundane knowledge gives us a lot of hope. Nowadays scientists are saying, we'll go to another planet because the earth is becoming too much of a problem, then we'll go to another planet and try to find out life there. The reason why they're spending millions of dollars to try and go to other planets, they say, is because one day this earth will be no more usable. And why so? Because of, again, human intervention. And then they want to go to other planet and probably do the same thing to the other planet as well. But anyway, they can't go. But they're giving us these hopes. Or you will have these, they are doing this research on how to prolong life and have a good quality of life. So they are saying all these things, and Sheyasha Bifala, when old age hits, when death is going to come, all those so-called hopes will turn out to be fruitless. So we have to understand real jnana. What is actually real jnana? Now here he says, She jnana ajnana jani. Now I know that all such erudition is actually pure ignorance. So Bhagavad Gita explains to us what is actually jnana. In the 13th chapter, all the symptoms of jnana or the ingredients of jnana are mentioned in these 5 verses 8 through 12. You see? Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham sthairyam atma vinigraha indriyartheshu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityujara vyadhi dukkadoshanudarshanam asaktir anabhishvangah putradara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini viviktadesha sevitvam aratir janasamsadi adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etagyanam iti proktam ajnanam yadathonyatha. You see, in the end, you see what he says, all these are declared to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever they may be is ignorance. Now let us see what are all these things, And let us compare our so-called mundane learning with this. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever they may be is ignorance. So, none of these things we can find in our so-called modern education. None of these. So that means the whole so-called education is actually illiteracy in the name of some education. This is called Mayaya Pahrata Jnana. And this is very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada in the purport of the Ishopanishad verse. Let me take that out. Ishopanishad, I think verse 9. Yeah. Andham tamah pravishanti ye vidyam upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya uvidyayam rataha. Those who engage in the culture of nescient activities shall enter into the darkest region of ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge. What is this so-called knowledge? Now in the purport, we'll read the whole purport because we have done a class on this, on the entire Ishopanishad, but still it is good to go through this in today's song's context. This mantra offers a comparative study of Vidya and Avidya. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but Vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided. This mantra of Sri Ishopanishad is more applicable today than at any time in the past. Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education, but the result is that people are more unhappy than ever before because of the stress placed on material advancement to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect. This sums up everything. With education, we have to become more happy. If after so much education, if people are becoming more and more unhappy, something is seriously wrong. Seriously wrong. And that's exactly the case today. Nobody is happy. The situation is becoming worse and worse day by day. The amount of people who have mental illness today is so much greater than before. Even comparing to when I was a teenager and comparing with the teens of today, there's so much mental illness today. Mental disturbance, stress, depression with so-called knowledge. Because why? Is mentioned here, to the exclusion of the most important part of life, the spiritual aspect. So this is the most important thing. Without that, everything else is just like a fish out of water. You try whatever else. If you don't put the fish in the water, how much ever comfort you may give to the fish will just struggle for existence. And that is exactly what is happening today. People are struggling because of immersed in a wrong environment, this material world. Now, as far as reading on, as far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra has explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything. This is, what is that? Ishavassamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magridha kasya svidhanam. And that forgetfulness of this fact is ignorance. The more a man forgets this fact of life, the more he is in darkness. In view of this, a godless civilization directed toward the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated. So this is the lecture on the Ishopanishad verse 9. This is the link to that. It's in the comments. You can go and check it out if you want later on. So he said, a godless civilization directed toward the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated within quotes. Material education, that means. Of the different classes of men, karmis, jnanis and yogis, the karmis are those who are engaged in the activities of sense gratification. In the modern civilization, 99% of the people are engaged in the activities of sense gratification under the flags of industrialism, economic development, altruism, political activism and so on. All these activities are more or less based on satisfaction of the senses to the exclusion of the kind of God consciousness described in the first mantra. In the language of the Bhagavad Gita 7.15, people who are engaged in gross sense gratification are mudhas, asses. The ass is a symbol of stupidity. Okay, let's see the 7.15 verse. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama mayayapahhrita jnana asuram bhavamashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So, Mayaya Pahrata Jnana means it appears like Jnana, but actually it's Ajnana. Shay Jnana, Ajnana Jani. In this current verse, I think. Yeah, you see the last line, Shay Jnana, Ajnana Jani. That knowledge has proved out to be actual ignorance. So, going back, the ass is a symbol of stupidity. Those who simply engaged in the profitless pursuit of sense gratification are worshipping avidya. According to Sri Ishopanishad, I poured the water on myself. Okay, so those who are simply engaging in profitless pursuit of sense gratification. So first of all, it's profitless pursuit. Sense gratification, we are not going to get the happiness that we are looking for. Everybody wants happiness, that's true. Anandamayo bhyasat. But we are looking for it in the wrong place. So, according to Sri Ishopanishad, they are worshipping avidya. And those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement are actually doing more harm than those who are on the platform of gross sense gratification. Important. Those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement, those people who open schools and hospitals, especially schools for education, they are actually doing more harm than good. Why? Because it's all based on this profitless pursuit of sense gratification, which gives the exact opposite result of what one desires. See? We want happiness, but we are ending up with unhappiness. They translate, of course, always that if we get money, then we get happiness. But so many people are having money, but they're not happy. In fact, they become more and more unhappy when they have money. They become more and more lonely. Nobody becomes their true friend anymore. They have this distance from every other people. Nobody looks up to them for a friendship which is without any strings attached. Everybody wants some of their wealth, even if everybody may behave with them nicely because they have wealth, but that's because they want something out of them. Nobody comes to them for real friendship, real relationships. They don't have, very less. And even if you have so-called relationships, if they don't help spiritually, even materially they lose out. Material relationships are actually not of much value. Yeah? But even those relationships they can't have. Even the conveniences, what I'm trying to say is, even the conveniences that can be had by a poor man or a reasonably middle class man are not there for the rich person. So actually, in every way, and sometimes maybe the health may be a problem, or relationships may be a problem, or anything. There can be so many factors. But this so-called wealth and the means to that wealth, the so-called education, is all a big ignorance. And helping this sort of civilization, those who play the role of helping. Now, there are actually some verses in regard to this. Let's go. Srimad Bhagavatam 6, 9, 49. नवेद कृपण श्रेय आत्मनो गुणवस्तुदृक् तस्य तानिच्छतो यच्छेद यदि सोपि तथाविधः. Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers, kripanas. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, you see, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish. Next. स्वयं निःश्रेयसं विद्वान् नवक्त्यज्ञाय कर्म हि नरातिरोगिणो पथ्यं वाञ्छतोपि भिषक्तमः. A pure devotee who is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment, not to speak of helping him in such activities. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. So a sadhu's business is not to do this. So anybody who does this, who helps advancement of pursuit of sense gratification, he is a bigger fool. He is doing more harm. See, a child may want to play on the road. If the father allows the child to play on the road, the father is more foolish than the child. Yes, the child is foolish. He doesn't know what is good for him, what is bad for him, what is dangerous for him. He doesn't know anything. But if the father, having known, who is supposed to at least know, if he says, okay, you go and play on the road, is that a, I mean, he will be condemned. In fact, he will be put to, punishment. So those who so-called help and facilitate this thing are even worse. They are doing more harm than good. Another, in the first canto, fifth canto, 5:5:15. Is this the one? No, 5:5:17. Sorry. Kastam swayam tad abhigno vipaschid avidyayam antare vartamanam. Avidyayam, you see, avidya. Drishtva punastam sagranah kubuddhim prayojayed utpathagam yathandham. If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned, merciful and advanced in spiritual knowledge engage him in fruitive activity and thus further entangle him in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on his way to danger? How can he approve this method? No wise or kind man can allow this. You see? So, again, same point. Anybody who is facilitating this is even worse. 1:5:15. जुगुप्सितं धर्म कृतेनुशासतः स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः यद्वाक्यतो धर्म इतीतर स्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणं जनः. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned and is quite unreasonable. Because they are guided under your instructions, they will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. And here, Narad Muni, he very much heavily chastised Vyasadeva. You see, a patient suffering from a particular type of malady is almost always inclined to accept eatables which are forbidden for him. The expert physician does not make any compromise with the patient by allowing him to take partially what he should not at all take. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that a man attached to fruitive work should not be discouraged from his occupation, for gradually he may be elevated to the position of self-realization. This is sometimes applicable for those who are only dry empiric philosophers without spiritual realization, but those who are in the devotional line need not be always so advised. See? So, all these things are pointing to the same thing, that if we facilitate the sense gratification of people, then that is going to be even worse than those who are actually engaged in such sense gratification. The advancement of learning by a godless people is as dangerous as a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra. A cobra decorated with a valuable jewel is more dangerous than one not decorated. In the Haribhakti, there's actually a verse from the Niti Shastra, I think Mani Sarpa. I forgot the verse. So it's from the Niti Shastra that a snake which keeps his poison from being emitted or spat out, eventually that poison becomes a jewel on the head. Now that snake appears more attractive, but actually it only invites quicker death because it has so much poison. And the attractive feature of such snake, usually it's like snake has to hunt, but if there is a jewel which is shining, it will attract it will attract attention, and it will bring others closer to the snake, and the snake can easily strike. So it's even more dangerous. It invites a quicker death. So in the Haribhakti Sudhodaya, the advancement of education by godless people is compared to decorations on a dead body. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastram Japastapaha Apranasyev Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. Without spiritual Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, without devotional service, without Krishna consciousness, any advancement is just a decoration on a dead body. It doesn't serve any purpose. In India, as in many other countries, some people follow the custom of leading a procession with a decorated dead body for the pleasure of the lamenting relatives. In the same way, modern civilization is a patchwork of activities meant to cover the perpetual miseries of material existence. If you decorate a dead body, it may satisfy the relatives who are crying a little bit. But it's never going to change the reality that this person is dead, and the misery just continues. So similarly, it is nicely said here, modern civilization is a patchwork of activities meant to cover up the perpetual miseries of material existence. All such activities are aimed towards sense gratification. But above the senses is the mind, and above the mind is the intelligence, and above the intelligence is the soul. Thus, the aim of real education should be self-realization, realization of the spiritual values of the soul. Any education which does not lead to such realization must be considered avidya. This is the meaning of avidya. Any education which does not lead to such realization of what is the soul, what is the super soul, what is my relationship with the super soul, Paramatma. If any education does not lead us there, then it's avidya or nescience. And to culture such nescience means to go down to the darkest region of ignorance. Jnana Durbala. Durbala means it is feeble, it is not strong, very, very weak, in fact, completely incapable. Now, what are the miseries? Now, knowledge should solve problems. That's why knowledge is there. Now, with ignorance, there are problems, yes. If the advancement of knowledge, science, and technology are there to solve problems, right? For example, the light bulb was invented because there was darkness, there was a problem. Okay, light bulb was invented. Then, like this camera, for example. Camera is, invented for, okay, we need evidence or we need to capture some moments. Okay, there was a problem. To paint everything will take a lot of time. So, okay, one photo, one click, and then you have the entire thing. So many problems are being solved by knowledge, advancement of knowledge. So, every time knowledge has to solve problems. Now, what are the biggest problems of life? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. These four are the main problems of life. What are they? Janma, birth, Mrityu, death, Jara, old age, Vyadhi, disease. So, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. So, these are the main problems. So, if we have a new technology, maybe 5G or new iPhone, new computer or laptop or anything like that, how are they addressing the problems of birth, death, old age and disease? Despite any amount of education or knowledge or scientific advancement, technological discoveries, birth is going on, death is going on, old age is going on, disease is going on. All these are painful conditions. So that's why it is called Durbala. If a knife, it looks like a knife, but when you cut it, nothing gets cut. What is the use of such knife? Showpiece knife. It has to be sharp. Then it will cut. So that's why this material education looks like a knife. Just giving an example. But it does not do the job of knife. So it looks like education, but it does not do the job of education, which is actually releasing us from these problems. Whereas real knowledge of the spirit soul, of Atma Tattvam, this will actually release us from the miseries of birth, death, old age and disease. Because after this death, of course this death has to happen since we have already accepted this material body. But after this there will be no more rebirth. Now the modern civilization is so downtrodden that they don't even know that there is a birth after this death. They don't know. They are not sure. In fact, they say, no, it's not even there. One life, live it. You only live once. YOLO, they say. YOLO. You only live once, make it count. Live life king size. All these slogans have come about because of utter ignorance. If they say live life king size and you have only one life, they are actually living life worm in the stool size. That's what they are doing. That's what they will become in the end. Not king. Now, Jada Vidya Jata Mayar Vaibhav Tomar Bhajane Badha Moha Janamiya Anitya Samsare Jiva Ke Koraye Gadha. All the so-called knowledge of this world is born of the flickering potency of your illusory energy Maya. Jada Vidya Jata Mayar Vaibhav. So this all education is just a great opulence of Maya. So just like behind me, this is not a curtain. This is, although it looks like one. This is Maya. I think who has written that? Vanajakshi Mataji has written. Oh, Maya. So I am having one thing actually here, but I am showing it as another. Similarly, they showed the moon landing hoax. You see, the moon landing hoax. They never went to the moon. Simply made a rubbish video and photographs. And recently our devotee Nimanitaya Prabhu, he has completely exposed them in his short 10 minutes video, sitting in a room. He completely exposed them with evidence, full evidence. I don't know if you have seen that video or not. Maybe moderator can put the link of that video in the comments here. If you go to Nimanitaya Prabhu's channel, I think the last video or the second last video was about this moon landing hoax. That video is very, very nice, very nicely made with full scientific evidence. You can't deny that. They never went to the moon. So they made it up. So this is Mayar Vaibhav, and people are believing. And even if they actually make some advancement, how are they actually addressing the real problems of life? They are not addressing the problems of life. Mayar Vaibhav, it is just Vaibhav means potency or an exhibition of illusion. It's a huge glaring exhibition of illusion. This is Jada Vidya. Jada Vidya means material education. Tomar bhajane badha. This is another big thing. This is very important now. It is an impediment to the execution of devotional service to you. Now, children when they go to school, they associate with their classmates and school and their ideas, the kind of knowledge they get. All this is association, and with that association, what is happening there? So they are becoming more hopeful in this material world, and they are having big dreams in this material world. They want to become this, they want to become that, and by nonsense association, by non-devotee association, they are not becoming devotees, because as we associate, so we become. I think there is a saying that you are the average of the 5 of your closest people around you. That means whatever are your closest people, your characteristics, your personality develops accordingly. So if I always, if especially the children, they are so vulnerable to association. So whether they go into wrong company, like into drugs or into gangs and all these things, or if they become very studious and become very academically very qualified, either way they are missing out on the actual purpose of life. Either way, it's not that, oh yeah, actually my son is good, he is not into any bad habits. He doesn't smoke, he doesn't do all these things, actually he doesn't run after girls, and he is studying very hard. Even that itself is a distraction, because the child is going away from the actual aim of human life. Still, either way it's distraction. So in the material world, one may consider one thing to be better than the other, but from spiritual perspective, everything material is actually not conducive. Tomar bhajane badha. And if a person becomes either busy with gangs and drugs and smoking and all these bad habits, or he becomes busy with studies, one thing he is not busy with, that is devotional service, Krishna consciousness. And that is actually what matters. How does anything else ever matter? So people miss out on this point. They sometimes even take to Bhagavad Gita or this kind of books to facilitate their they say sometimes the parents want the children to learn some Bhagavad Gita. Why? So that they will become a little bit it will help them in their so-called material education advancement, give them a proper mindset, maybe help them from stress so that they can learn better, they can score better marks in the examination. This is not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, if one actually reads Bhagavad Gita, he will lose his enthusiasm for acquisition of material knowledge. If actually one understands Bhagavad Gita, because that's not going to really solve the problem. What material education is giving is a huge hope. As Prabhupada said, a post-dated check. Is giving a post-dated check. What is a post-dated check? A check with the amount and everything, maybe $1 million. Here's a check. But it's post-dated. So today is like 4th of January. Suppose it's post-dated maybe 4th of May 2021. I give a check to you with $1 million. I give it to you. What is that? That is a promise. Because I can't encash it now. If I go to the bank, they will say that no, we can't encash this check because it's dated as 4th May 2021. Now it is only 4th January. You have to wait 4 months or 5 months. February, March, April, May. 4 months. You have to wait. So it is like a promise. Yes, I'm going to get $1 million, but you don't have it now. And there's no guarantee that it's going to be there on the 4th of May, because in my bank account, if I don't have $1 million, that check will be just a piece of paper only, nothing. It will not be valid. It will not be worth anything. So what is material education is giving is a future hope. If we, your future will be good. It's always promising us like that. Tomar bhajane badha. And if now we don't have happiness, and future also actually turns out, as Bhaktivinoda says in the song, now I am old, I am understanding that actually all this knowledge is ignorance. It has become a big pain now. I regret my entire life. He's singing like that. Of course, he's not regretting personally because he's a devotee, great Mahabhagavat, but he's writing in that way to teach us that now if we hanker after this material education, at the end of life we will regret. Unnecessarily we will regret. We are a recipe for regret. So we have to, he is forewarning us. Tomar bhajane badha. And nowadays people, the students are fully associating with either way, and then when they grow up, they work in jobs, and all this time wasted. I mean, there is every second gone is gone and gone forever, and we can't return it and can't get it back. And if we don't engage this time in Krishna's service, it's gone. And actually with that knowledge we will be busy working outside, and then Tomar bhajane badha, it was a great impediment to the service. Morning to night working, and then with so many other anxieties that comes with family life and everything. So where is the time for spiritual advancement? Simply busy, like this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 3. Nidriya hriyate naktam vyava yena chava vayah divachartheha yarajan kutumba bharanena va. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime either in making money or maintaining family members. That's all. The whole life is just gone like this, without any profit. They think, but the problem is, the people who are in ignorance, they think this is happiness. To be with wife and family and in the house and having a high paying job and all these things, they think is happiness. That is a problem. They don't recognize their problem. A pig eating stool, he thinks he is happy. What a feast I am having every day, and how many women I have with me, how many children I have a huge dynasty here. That's it. Nothing, nobody is enjoying like me. The pig is thinking. But you see the pig is eating stool, and what kind of nonsense, garbage life. But that is its happiness, because his understanding of life is on that level, eating stool level. So this so-called material education will give us that kind of life, will give us a misconstrued opinion about life, and we accept misery as happiness. And he says, actually before, Moha janamiya anitya samsare jivaka kore gadha. Gadha, in Hindi gadha means donkey or ass, and Bengali is gadha. So same thing. So we are becoming an ass with this material education, because ass has to carry so much burden and work so hard for very meager amounts of food. So we are also, people are working day and night, but a little bit only they can eat, and for just maintaining they have to work so hard like an ass. That is what material education is giving. Indulgence in mundane knowledge verily makes an ass out of the eternal soul by encouraging his infatuation with this temporary world. Next, Shaigadha hoy samsarer bojha bahino anek kal. Here is one person who has been turned into such an ass. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is claiming himself that he is one such ass. Here is one such ass who has who for so long has carried on his back the useless burden of material existence. He is only useless. Samsarer bojha, the burden. Bahino anek kal. Now in my old age, bardhakya ekhona shaktira abhave kichu nahi lage bhalo. Now in my old age, for want of the power to enjoy, I find that nothing at all pleases me. This is old age. Old age is not you will become wiser. You will become a miser. That is what is happening with old people. Age does not bring wisdom. What is the use of 80 years, 90 years of life without spiritual knowledge? He is as ignorant as a child, but he has the extra ego that he is very wise, whereas a child does not have that. That is the so-called wisdom of an old man, if he is not spiritually advanced. Bardhakya ekhona shaktir abhave kichu nahi lage bhalo. Nothing pleases. Nothing pleases. Everything will be very miserable, and one by one all our relatives and friends, our parents, our even sometimes siblings, everybody start to pass away. Life partner passes away, parents pass away, siblings pass away, friends pass away, and then the writing is just on the wall. One day I am going to be on the same, everybody is on the same queue. But then the thing is, when we become older and older, more and more warnings will be coming. But still, if we don't heed anything and still try to, I want to enjoy my life in retirement, save up money now while I am working for retirement so that I can enjoy that time. What you can enjoy? Nothing we can enjoy like that. It's a whole illusion. Bardhakya ekhona shaktir abhave kichu nahi lage bhalo. Old age is a very, very painful experience. जीवन जातना होइलो एखना शे विद्या अविद्या भेलो अविद्यार ज्वाला घटिलो विषमा शे विद्या होइलो शेलो. Life has now become agony, for my so-called erudite knowledge has proven itself to be worthless ignorance. Material knowledge has now become a pointed shaft and has pierced my heart with the intolerable burning pain of ignorance. Because old age means basically we're going to die. It's just a warning of death. And at that time, all our, big knowledge and everything, all this will just prove feeble. Nothing will come of help. Nothing will come to help us. We will die alone and we will be dragged out of this world. And because all that has not helped us, it become very painful. Tomara charana bina kichu dhana samsare na achayara bhakti vinoda jada vidya chadi toa pada kore sara. O Lord, there is no treasure worth seeking in this world other than your lotus feet. Bhaktivinoda abandons all his mundane knowledge and makes your lotus feet the sum and substance of his life. So basically, he is teaching us, please, don't waste your time. It's not going to fulfill all the promises that it actually promises. It doesn't deliver on the promises. So, take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. This is his advice to all of us. So, as soon in our life as we take this advice, that much better it is for us. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumara acharet prajna. We should start from 5 years old. Just like when the material education starts, that time we should start the spiritual education. From the very beginning of life. Then one will be fully, one whole life will be worthwhile. And actually from my personal experience also, I was in that material education and now I am in this. In fact, exactly half of my life was in the pursuit of material education and half of my life was in this spiritual life. So now I am 34. First 17 years of my life, in fact actually first 20 years of my life. Yeah, but halfway in that, while I am 18 and something, I already started my spiritual path, but it's roughly about almost half and half. Half material, half spiritual. Huge difference. The happiness one gets here is just unmatched. It's so full of meaning, you exactly know what you're doing, and whatever you're doing is amounting to actual assets. It is spiritual. It is not a material thing. It is not going to go away. All the things that we are learning and doing in this devotional service will never get lost. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. And we know exactly the cause of suffering of everybody else, and we actually engage in welfare activities for the benefit of everybody. That is to share this knowledge. And for this we will undertake huge efforts. So all this mission, everything, the whole life becomes very meaningful. You see how Srila Prabhupada, even at the old age, he had so much energy and he was full of purpose. He knew exactly what he was doing. But the old man of today, they don't know what they're doing with their lives. They start they start in the material way of life, and then once they come to retirement, they don't know what to do with their lives, and they just maybe play with some grandchildren or go out on a tour and travel here and there, and that's all. And sometimes some people, they think they are doing so much good for the world, so much good. Oh, I have done this, I have done that. They are actually very driven people. They may undertake some mundane welfare activities, and they may work until the last point in their life. Like for example, Gandhi, he was working for the independence of India. Or some people may take up some altruistic activities, and they may be mission driven to the entire end of their life. They think they know what they're doing. But there's a beautiful verse that Prabhu actually showed in the recent class. I will just take it out. Just give me a moment, because it's a very beautiful verse. It's quite hilarious also. One second. Okay, got it. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 13, Text 30. Very interesting verse. Yavannanarthadhihi pumso na nivarteta yuktibhih jagartyapi swapannagnyah swapne jagaranam yatha. According to my instructions, Krishna is speaking this. According to my instructions, one should fix the mind on me alone. If, however, one continues to see many different values and goals in life rather than seeing everything within me, then although apparently awake, one is actually dreaming due to incomplete knowledge. Just as one may dream that one has wakened from a dream. You know this? Have you ever experienced this? That you were sleeping, but then you dreamed that okay, you have woken up and then you have taken shower and then you gotten all ready and then you have taken your bag and everything and going out to the go to your office or school or something like that, only to realize that then something will suddenly, you just wake up and what, I'm still in my bed. So it's like dreaming that you have already wakened from a dream. That's exactly how these people are. They think they know everything. They think they know what they're doing, but they have goals which are other than Krishna consciousness. If, however, one continues to see many different values and goals in life rather than seeing everything within me, that means without Krishna consciousness, if we think we have other goals and they're very driven, purpose driven, okay, I will do some difference in this world, but they are like people who are dreaming that they have already woken from the dream. They're still dreaming. The only people who have actually woken up from the dream are the people who have awakened to spiritual knowledge. So because all those so-called dreams and so-called so-called welfare, altruistic activities are not going to help anyone, either himself nor the others. Ultimately, because they will continue in this repeated cycle of birth and death, and as long as one does that, there is no parabhav. It is called parabhav. You see, it is a complete defeat. One is a loser if one ends up again in another body in this material world. Parabhavastavad jato yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam yavat kriyastavadidam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. As long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to miseries arising from ignorance. Be it sinful or pious, karma has its result in actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear, and as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. So, as long as we accept a material body, that's ignorance. So, how to live in this world now? How to live in this world which is material and we need some food to eat and all that, but at the same time we have to engage in spiritual realization. So that is explained. Many verses, but this one verse is sufficient. 1 to 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yascheha karma bhihi. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant to inquire about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's works. See that? So we have to make our life very simple. Our earning and all these things should only be to the amount that is enough for us to survive. If we have, by good chance, by good fortune, if we get some extra money, anything other than that, we have to give it to the devotees. I think there is a nice saying, when you have extra money, don't increase your standard of living, but increase your standard of giving. So, and giving also to the right person. If it is not to the right person, then it is again a path to hell. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, text 20, if you see, Datavyam iti yaddanam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha Taddanam satvikam smritam. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. And what is worthy? Who is that worthy person? Who is broadcasting the message of Krishna consciousness. He is the worthy person. He is the only one who can help, not anybody else. And if next verse, but charity performed with some expectation of some return, or with a desire for fruitive results, or in a grudging mood, is said to be charity in the mode of passion. And charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons, or without proper attention and respect, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritam avagyatam tattamasam udahritam. You see? So it has to be done properly. Then yes, everything is proper. So I think that should suffice for today. Of course, we can talk a lot about this ignorance and knowledge. A lot of things are there, but I think you get the idea. So these songs, that's why we have to be connected with these songs, so that so much philosophy is there in these songs. In very simple 6 verses, he has summarized the entire futility of material education and is teaching us that we shouldn't make the same mistakes. So if there are any questions, we will take the questions. Oh, she's saying audio is a bit breaking. Let's see, any questions here? Okay, we have a question by Bhakta Virendra. World leaders and governments don't encourage or want scriptural education to be introduced in school syllabus. For example, secular Indian government don't introduce knowledge of Sanatana Dharma in school textbooks like Bhagavad Gita. Why did you put a question mark there? It's not a question. But yeah, that is the problem in today's world. They don't want this to be institutionalized. Well, that's where we come. Our movement is for that purpose, to fill that need, which actually, yes, the government should take it up, but in Kali Yuga, everybody is ill-informed about what is religion and what is not religion, what is actual education and what is actual ignorance. So those who are, in previous ages, the Brahmanas used to teach everything, and they used to direct the Kshatriyas, they used to advise the Kshatriyas, the rulers, how to rule according to religious principles. But now, all that system is out of the window. So we have to somehow or other exist and preach the message of Krishna consciousness. Actually, Prabhupada says that in one song, in one offering to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur on his disappearance day in 1959. He wrote a beautiful long poem, long song. In that he writes that he glorifies Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and says that in Kali Yuga, nobody will welcome a sadhu. But he's addressing Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he said, but you will, what is this? Something like, you will somehow or other exist in the cities in whichever way or form and preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is how we are also conducting our missions everywhere. Like ours in China, forget it. We can't do anything legally there. So still surviving and preaching, and everywhere there are our own challenges in Kali Yuga. But even in Singapore, we are in this one building of two units in a building, 3 units. Ideally you should have a huge nice building and temple and everything. Not so easily understood. People don't understand the value of it, but nevertheless somehow or other exist and preach. And even during this COVID time, no physical interactions, but still somehow or other in live streams, do it. So that is the whole point. Somehow or other we have to exist. We have to squeeze our way through, and we will not be welcome. We will always be uninvited guests. It's not good to be an uninvited guest according to etiquette, general etiquette. But if you want to follow the etiquette, then the whole spiritual knowledge will have no place. So devotees have to somehow or other squeeze their way here and there through loopholes or whatever is there, and then exist and preach the message of Krishna consciousness. Dheeraj is asking a question. If one man gives money in charity to a needy poor person, but if that person uses that money in doing sinful activities, then that man who has given him money, does he also get sin? Yeah, this verse. Adesha kale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritam avagyatam tat tamasam udahritam. To unworthy persons should not give. Yes, whatever sin is, if you give money to a poor person and he goes and buys meat or drinks alcohol and whatever, smokes, you also get because you have seen those verses. If you facilitate a fool in his sinful activities, you also become your greater fool because you facilitated that fool. I've shown you 4 verses today. Then next question. Yeah, this is the link of Nimanita Prabhu's video on the moon landing hoax. So you should watch this video. If you haven't watched it yet, you have to watch this video. Very, very nicely presented. Just 10 minutes only, but it's very, very nicely presented. Next. What about giving charity to the homeless? Is that also leading one to hellish path? If you want to give charity to the homeless, do it in the form of prasadam distribution. That is the best way. Because if you give money, and actually there is a nice documentary. The other day Sundagopal Prabhu was sharing. It's actually an 1.5 hour long documentary. I think the title of the documentary was Fighting for the Soul of Seattle. Seattle was a beautiful city in the US. Even now it is considered beautiful. But it has been infested with so many homeless people and they are into drugs. 95% of them. And homeless people, maybe some are responsible, but the best way is to give prasadam and give some book. Let them read. Let them come to the temple. In that way, that is the best way to help them. If you give money, you don't know what they will do. They may eat meat, they may drink, they may take to drugs. You don't know. How can you assure? So the easiest way, and even if they don't take, and even if they take vegetarian food, even that is not good enough. Right? You know the value of prasadam, you know the value of Krishna consciousness. So we, devotee, Dana Pratigraha, Brahmanas 6 qualities are there. 2 of them are Dana and Pratigraha. Pratigraha means to accept donations. And the other thing is to Dana, to give donations to others. That means he accepts only as much as is required for his personal maintenance, and the rest of it he gives back to the society. Now, giving back to the society, that donation is not exactly in the form of money which he receives. He has to transform it into a spiritually enriching product in the form of books, prasadam, or such projects, especially books and prasadam, and maybe renting a place and starting programs, starting a temple, these kind of missionary activities he has to use the money for. So that is the proper dhanam, that is the proper contribution to the society. So Brahmana should always be so busy contributing to society that he has no time to earn a livelihood, and that's why he is to be given donation. Not that the Brahmana should be given donation and he will eat and sleep. No. He should be busy contributing to the society, both to the rich and the poor, equally, with prasadam and with especially with knowledge and kirtan. So we have to change their lifestyle, we have to help them. Actually everybody is homeless, we all are homeless. Our real home is Vaikuntha. So this material world is, we are like beggars here, all homeless, roaming around like vagabonds. Upari Adha, from Brahmaloka to Patal Loka, we are vagabonds. All are homeless. So, with that understanding, we have to preach Krishna consciousness. You missed this question. What question did I miss? Which question did I miss? Oh, okay, there is another question. Wow, big question. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Since we are living in material world, having material bodies, people give importance to material knowledge and acquire material qualifications which they use to acquire material wealth, maintain families, raise children and forget the very aim of human life. Many people therefore are ignorant of eternal spirit soul and spiritual knowledge. How can such people turn to spiritual knowledge and attain eternal life? By chanting Hare Krishna, by associating with devotees. That's how it all starts. We have to start associating with devotees. That's where the whole thing turns for everybody. All of us. How did our life turn? By reading Prabhupada's books. That's where it all starts. Knowledge. So they are busy, yes, with all these things. So, but why are they busy with that? Because that is their understanding. So, if their understanding of life can be changed, then they will be busy with the new understanding of life. So now, because their understanding of life is in that ignorance platform, so they are busy with the ignorance platform. So if the understanding is changed, then they will be busy with this platform. So the only thing is, the switch is to be made in the understanding, and that's where the knowledge comes, and that's where the pure devotee comes. So when he delivers the knowledge, then yes, it all starts. Okay, what else? Okay, so Vanajakshi Mataji is saying, thank you for the enlightening Vaishnava song, Prabhuji. Hearers' awareness shifts from mundane education to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, it's a nice song, actually, very, very beautiful song. Thank you very much all. Thank you all very much for attending and participating in this. I'll try to change this background and all that to something more meaningful. This was just an experiment, so first time at least I changed to a sit down position. I'm going to change the format a little bit by singing the song first and then explaining it, and maybe a few more changes along the way. Alright, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, real knowledge ki jai, Vidya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.